Along a newly tarred road, an old man walked, and beside him was a younger companion, a visitor. As the duo walked and talked, it seemed obvious from their dialogue that they had made this same journey sometime before. It was about 2 years ago, in 2018, when Pa Sholado Igbenjo took this same route with his visitor. On that first trip, it was tales of woe as the old farmer showed his young visitor the cracks and gullies of Igbajo community in Osun State that made it near impossible for the locals to earn a living because they had no means of taking their produce out to sell.
The problem what it better. Now, show the quick who's drain. Agbára tó ń bọ̀ báyìí. Àní ọ̀nà ni.
Orí ni a fi ń rerù lọ sí Ìgbàjọ pẹ̀lú àti ọmọ ní ẹ̀yìn. Tá a bá dé ọjà, ìràkúrà náà máa rà. Tá a bá ṣiṣẹ́ nígbà tó ti dálẹ̀ ẹ̀rọ ìka, tá a bá ṣiṣẹ́ ìràkúrà ni wọ́n wá rà. Torí àwọn tó máa wá ẹsẹ̀ náà fi máa rìn.
Igbajo was not an isolated case. Other communities across the state like Awala, Akwomu, and Patara also bemoaned the challenges they were forced to endure because of poor road access, and in many cases, the challenges went beyond just the inability to take goods to the market. Poor road access hinders inter-community relationships and denies people access to basic services like education and healthcare.
Ìyà tá jẹ lọ́nà yìí ò kéré. Tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ tá wà nípò bímọ. Àìmọye ọmọ tá bí sójú ọ̀nà. Torí ká tó rìn dé Ìgbàjọ. Bó arí ọkọ̀ gan kò lè gbé wa. Ọ̀kadà gan ò lè dúró pé ó gbé yàn. A mọ̀ rìn lọ́nà níbi tọ́lọ́run bá tú wa lẹ̀ sí náà látún padà sóko.
Ìgbà míì tán bá ń gbé wa lọ mọ́tò ọ̀kadà ó dúró kò ní lè wà kì. Nígbà míì a lè yọ̀ tá ṣubú nígbà míì àní ríbi gòkè.
Oko pati ò dáa nítorí pé ó burú jù. Tán bá ní jù kò sí ẹni onímọ̀sìn gan ò lè rìn. Tẹ́lẹ̀sẹ̀ gan bá máa rìn tó bá bí Ìgbàjọ yóò ṣubú lẹ́ẹ̀mejì.
To address the multiple challenges caused by the poor road access in rural communities across Nigeria, the federal government of Nigeria, in partnership with the World Bank and the French Development Agency, initiated the second Rural Access Mobility Project, RAMP2, with the aim of improving transport conditions and bringing sustained access to rural populations by constructing new roads and rehabilitating old ones.
RAMP, Rural Access and Mobility Project, is a concept of the federal government where the government develop a policy for bringing development to the rural communities. And when the policy was finally rectified by the government, it came to a point of implementation. And in that wise, they need funds to implement the policy. They also need international best practices to ensure that people get the benefit of the policy. And that's where the discussion started. And both the World Bank and French Development Agency now give some money to government, and we come in partnership to intervene in the states.
Osun was one of the first states in Nigeria to key into this project and immediately went to work, delivering 214.14 kilometers of rural road networks and river crossings in Phase 1. The success of Osun Ramp Phase 1 could not have been told better by anyone else other than the locals of the beneficiary communities.
Ìyípadà tó ti pọ̀ láti rí over 200 villages láti rí ìyípadà tó yẹ pé a ti wà nínú òkùnkùn tẹ́lẹ̀ tọ́lọ́run sì wá gbé aṣẹ́ náà mọ́lẹ̀. Nítorí pé tẹ́lẹ̀ èmi gan fúnra mo ní ọsàn tó tó bíi 10,000 ìdí báyìí, igi ìdí báyìí tó jẹ́ pé mo ń tà 20,000. 10,000 ìdí igi báyìí. Mo ń tà 20 naira tẹ́lẹ̀, ó ti ń di nǹkan 50 naira. Àwa náà ti ń di ẹni tí ń lówó lọ́wọ́. Táwa náà fi lè máa gbé nǹkan ṣe.
Ṣé rí tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ mọ́sínì la máa fi kó gẹ̀rẹ́ mọ́sínì ọ̀rẹ́ wo ni iye mo bẹ́ẹ̀ náà fẹ́ bá mi kó ìwà ẹ̀. Ṣé rí mọ́sínì máa bá mi di ọ̀gẹ̀dẹ̀ yẹn náà di gbé la máa ṣe gbé lọ bí mẹ́lì mẹ́rùn kẹ́ ti ń bọ̀ ni. Bí mẹ́lì mẹ́rùn yẹn sí bẹ́yìn ẹ̀rì kan tó fi orí rù ni mọ́sínì àbá mi di. Ìdajì owó ọ̀gẹ̀dẹ̀ gan-an mo ti fi mú kọ́lá kádà tán. Dọ́sìnì kan ọ̀gẹ̀dẹ̀ kan bá gbẹ́ǹgbẹ́ǹgbẹ́ 3,000 ẹ máa bá mi di dọ́sìn ìdèbí mo ti máa ta mo ti máa ta 3,500 ṣùgbọ́n ní ìsìn kí n bá ti kó débẹ̀ yẹn báyìí 7,000 máa ta ní ìsìn bá àpò méjì ọmọ yìí máa mú kó ọlọ́kadà 500 péré máa mú kó báyìí nígbà ọ̀nà ti dé.
Following on the success of Phase 1, the Osun RAMP2 team went to work to deliver another 307.96 kilometers of road networks in Phase 2. Of course, in trying to identify communities with the greatest need, interviews were conducted with locals like Park Benjo and members of other communities.
Ó difficult láti get labour láti lọ ṣiṣẹ́ lóko because they don't like the bad road.
After the meetings and interviews, promises were made that these projects would be fixed, but after many years of failed promises, the locals were quite skeptical.
Ẹ wo oríṣiríṣi ìjọba títí ń ṣèlérí fún wa, wọ́n bá àsọ̀nà ẹ̀ lónìí, wọ́n bá àsọ̀nà ẹ̀ lọ́la, bóyá ni mo ti he yín ẹnu mi tí wọ́n fi ń gbà ń bá àsọ̀nà ẹ̀ tó jẹ́ pé pàbó ní já sí.
The community initially they were skeptical that maybe we are just there to bamboozle them, that no, we are not going to do. But when they see the seriousness and the part of the project, all of them embraced this thing.
But true to their words, the Osun RAMP2 team got approval to commence Phase 2, and immediately they went to work. One can only imagine the joy and disbelief in these communities as heavy machinery rolled into town. Today, 2 years after the promises were made, villages and hamlets that were seemingly forgotten are now wearing a new look. The roads have been fixed, and life seems to be much easier for everyone: men, women, even school children.
Nígbà tó náà dá báyà mọ́ lò bí ìṣẹ́jú márùn-ún. Nígbà tó náà dá tẹ́lẹ̀ àmọ́ lò bí 15 minutes.
Ìlọsíwájú ti dé bá ọrọ̀ ajé wa torí pé bá a ṣe jókòó yìí nísìnyí tábà lẹ́nu tó fẹ́ ta nǹkan ní ìgboro níṣẹ́ dé yìí ó ti lọ yóò ti mówó dé.
Nígbà kan wà fẹ́ tiwa gan-an but ní ìsìn a dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run pé gbogbo ẹ̀ ti ń lọ dáadáa báyìí.
In its 7-year existence as a project aimed at delivering improved road access, more than 276,000 people living in the rural communities, half of which are women, have been positively affected by RAMP, almost doubling the original target of 148,000. Old roads have been rehabilitated, new ones have been cut out where there was none, and a total of 26 river crossings have been created to enable easier and safer passage across water. These will continue to provide all-weather access for the people of the state.
Rural Access and Mobility Project is a strategy designed to manage and provide access to the rural community. And by today, Osun Rural Access and Mobility Project has met the intention, the mandate for which it was established.
Now, Igbajo, Awala, Apomu, and other communities along the corridor of the 376-kilometer newly constructed and rehabilitated road networks and river crossings are enjoying a new lease of life and reaping the benefits that these new roads are bringing into their lives. They walk around with a skip in their steps, a smile on their faces, and a song on their lips.
Káàtì ń ná bí, àwọn àlàkẹ́ ti ń ná bí, ráǹpù ti sáyé wa di rọrùn.
Kò sí ìyà kankan fún wa mọ́ níbi tí àwọn ìjọba àti àjọ ráǹpù tí wọ́n ṣe fún wa níbi nǹkan mọ́ ní gbàgbé ni tá a sì lè gbàgbé ẹ̀ láéláé ọmọ wa gan kò lè gbàgbé ní nǹkan tí wọ́n ṣe fún wa. Torí pé nǹkan tí wọ́n bá ṣe tí wọ́n bá yọwọ́ kúrò ń bẹ òun la lè pè yóò bàjẹ́. Wọ́n ṣe wọ́n tún fún àwa náà ní àwa tí wọ́n yàn bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n tún fún wa ní ohun àbúgbọ́nú.
About 649 people, indigents of the rural areas picked along the corridors of this road, were engaged in this community-based road maintenance group. And The groups were formed into 57 groups of cooperative societies, and we formed them into micro enterprises by registering them with the government and giving them the necessary certification to be able to operate the cooperative societies, and therefore the benefits accrued from these societies are very available to them readily.
But as the project comes to an end, it is pertinent to ask questions around how the gains of RAMP2 can be sustained far beyond December 2020. One key way through which Osun RAMP2 is addressing this looming challenge is by initiating community-led road maintenance teams, whose responsibility it would be to ensure that these roads continue to serve the people for as long as possible. Mr. Ayanfe, a member of the Iwopatara Road Maintenance Cooperative, speaks about how he and other members of the communities are playing their part in sustaining the gains of the RAMP project.
Yes, agbọ́dọ̀ mójútó kó fi mọ́tò padà sí ìròyìn tá a wà tẹ́lẹ̀ náà bàbá wa fi wá dúró jà pé ayẹyẹ ọmọ yìí o amúyín gẹ́gẹ́ bíi pé ọ̀nà yìí o tó pé agbára wa là fi ń ṣe tẹ́lẹ̀ o tọ́lọ́ sì ṣe tí wọ́n ronú kàn wá báyìí o ọ̀nà yìí ọ̀dọ̀ wọn yín ẹ má jẹ́ ó bàjẹ́.
Besides the use of local road maintenance teams, the Osun State government is also hard at work devising new strategies to ensure that the gains of RAMP2 will not be lost.
This aspect of the project is component 3, and we have, as of today, the policy framework for rural road management and financing has reached 90% completion. How? All the monitoring framework that was set aside for the monitoring of this is good. Presently, the bill has been done by the Ministry of Justice. The workshop that is supposed to be done carried all the stakeholders together where decision on what to do on rural road management and financing was agreed on, which is now being translated into law. The bill is in the Ministry of Justice, which has been done, and the final touches is being put into it. That is one aspect. The other aspect of it is the issue of low-volume road manuals. We have observed that the rural roads do not have any specification. They don't have any maintenance culture. Therefore, it is one of the prerogatives of rural asset and mobility to bring up a document that will stand a test of time in the low-volume road manual. There are 3 inserts: the manual, the specification, and the maintenance. These are being put in place. Workshop has been carried out, and the state government is vehemently supporting the project up to the point of approval.
Each workers are given 1 kilometer to maintain. The state will still keep these workers and pay them so that the road will be maintained throughout the year, so that to reduce the cost of annual mechanization of the road. So the maintenance culture, this administration has set it up. Not only rural road, all aspects of whatever we are doing, we have set aside certain portion of the contract. That when you are bidding for a contract, as we are going to okay, after 5 years, we expect that there will be a defect. So maintenance fee have been high-marked to keep all our projects in good shape.
The smiles and testimonials from these communities have proven that RAMP2 has been a resounding success in Osun State and will be a benchmark for the future rural access schemes across the nation. In fact, in 2019, Osun State was rated top by the World Bank among the 4 participating states in the area of counterpart funding for the RAMP2 project.
The performance of Osun State RAMP is one of the best in the country. And if you see the way they are implementing the project, they are top performer, leading all other states in implementation of RAMP.
In total, 690.1 kilometers of rural roads have been rehabilitated under the project, exceeding the initial target of 500 kilometers, and 586 kilometers of these receive efficient permanent routine maintenance. Back in Igbajo, Park Benjo has come to the end of his tour. His joy knows no bounds because he knows that this project can only serve to bring sustained development and progress to his community and his state. He takes a few minutes to thank and pray for his visitor before bidding him farewell.
Ọ̀nà yìí o, bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ṣe fún wa yìí, number 1, inú wa dùn. Number 2, gómìnà tó bá wa ṣe ẹ dákun ẹ bá ní dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀.
Bravo!